What are the creepiest footage ever captured on surveillance cameras? What do people do when they think no one is watching them? How can someone accidentally get stuck in an elevator forever? You will find answers to these and many other questions in this video. Today, I will show you various videos recorded by surveillance cameras. You are in for a kaleidoscope of emotions ranging from fear to tenderness. Returning home. Look at this footage. A girl is leisurely walking to her apartment to relax after a long and tiring day. She is calm, she sees no danger around her. Bye. But ahead in the dark corridor, there is someone. Some person is waiting for her. The girl sees the silent guest and immediately senses danger. She turns on the light, but this person disappears instantly. The girl decided that she imagined it. She turns off the light again, but the figure reappears, blocking her path. Not believing her eyes, the girl tries several times to turn the light on and off, but to no avail. The figure always returns again and again. Fear gradually creeps into the heart of the unfortunate girl when the word hell appears on the wall. I think any of us would be scared by that. The girl runs away, deciding that her life is more valuable. However, who would have thought that the creature was just trying to say hello? Perhaps it should be warned to do it less frighteningly next time. But what kind of creature was it, and is it lurking in that corridor waiting for the residents of the house, remains a mystery. The hospital. Ghost. The events of this video unfold in a hospital corridor. Unsuspecting people sit on benches waiting for their doctor's appointment. But it seems there will be no appointments today. A doctor, crazed with fear, rushes past the patients, falling and gasping in shock. Judging by his attire, he has just left the operating room. But what did he see there? What could have frightened a doctor so much, who has seen a lot in his career? From the expressions on the patients' faces, it can be understood that these questions did not concern them at that moment. They continue to sit and wait for their turn. Who among us wants to leave a medical facility without having seen a specialist? And then a wheelchair slowly rolls down the corridor. People are confused, but they are not in a hurry to leave. They probably thought it was the work of a clumsy nurse or someone's silly joke. But then, right before their eyes, the wheelchair turns around, on its own, without any external help. Now the patients are also seized by horror. They run away as fast as they can, abandoning their attempts to see the doctor. But what could it have been? I'm afraid we will never know the answer to this question. An aggressive spirit. The man was calmly heading somewhere. Perhaps a pleasant day or evening awaited him, but everything was hopelessly ruined. In an instant, his life turned into a horror movie. A narrow but well-lit corridor, which he knows very well. It seemed that just a little more and the man would reach where he needed to go. But then something truly incredible happens. Someone knocks the man off his feet, then grabs him and drags him in an unknown direction. The horror the man experienced at that moment can only be imagined. But then the monster got tired of carrying the resisting man and let him go. The victim runs away. I think he won't want to return there again. But what was that? Who attacked the poor man and why did they try to take him somewhere? Home. Sweet home. The calmest and coziest place in the world for us is always home. We can return there on an incredibly hard and difficult day, feeling the desire to be safe. And the last thing we expect is that a frightening or paranormal event will catch us there. So it was with this man. He returned home and started doing his routine tasks, not expecting any attack or shocking event. He walks around the house, drinks water, and prepares to rest. But this is not meant to happen, as something is already waiting for the man. As he walks past the stairs, something grabs him, lifts him into the air, and carries him away. This time, the captive was unable to break free. What awaited him there, beyond the camera's view, remains a mystery. As does the answer to the question, who or what could have so easily lifted the man into the air? A thief. But sometimes bad things happen to people without the involvement of evil spirits. For example, like in this case, a woman came to the hospital with her child. Surely the little one is sick and suffering from symptoms, and the mother's heart aches for him. But can this concern a heartless thief? Watch closely. As soon as the mother is distracted from her purse and phone to dress the child, the thief springs into action. Like a vulture, he sat for a long time waiting for the right target. And there she is in front of him. The man cautiously circles around the distracted woman, trying to avoid others' glances. For a moment, he even seems to think he should back off. But no, ultimately he proceeds with his actions. The thief slowly approaches the stand, then quickly grabs the phone and leaves the hospital. Surely after such an event the woman was in shock. She also had to search for the stolen device with a child in her arms. A very real and quite terrible situation. The most meticulous? These scenes also show that people can surprise more than any monster. Here a man enters the entrance hall. A quite tidy person, calm in appearance. He approaches the mailboxes, probably about to collect his mail. Perhaps that's what you thought, but you are greatly mistaken. Just look at what he does. Instead of cleaning up unnecessary trash and papers, he just scatters them on the floor in the entrance hall. You wouldn't wish for such a neighbor even on your enemy. One can only wonder what kind of order he maintains in his apartment if he considers it normal to throw trash on the floor like this. Is this a result of upbringing, or does he simply not respect anyone, not even himself? I'm afraid the answer to this question will remain a mystery to all of us. The door. And here is an equally astonishing case of human negligence. A resident of the building goes to his apartment with the motto, "My home is my castle." Only this castle turned out to be quite weak. Leisurely, our hero opens the door to the apartment, and you can notice that something is clearly wrong here. You are absolutely right. The door has slightly come out of the door frame. Apparently, those who installed it cut corners on everything. Or maybe they simply didn't have the proper skills for such complex work. It seems that the apartment resident also suspected something was amiss. He doesn't rush to slam the door shut, even pauses for a second. However, the future of the door is quite unfortunate. A moment later, it simply falls out, landing with a crash on the neighbors. Can you imagine how the neighbors of this person feel? They are guaranteed a daily shakeup. But it seems that the apartment resident is not even surprised by such a turn of events. He simply picks up the door and puts it back in place. However, such a miracle clearly won't protect the valuables in the house. The status of a fortress for this apartment is lost. I'm against it. Not everyone will be happy with a surveillance camera, although it seemed that it could provide a person with safety and protection in the event of an unexpected threat or attack. And if a thief appears, they can easily be detected with the help of this device. But not everyone thinks about it in this way. For some, a camera is something that will illegally record them during the most difficult moments of their lives, and some mysterious person will later review the footage and gather compromising material on the neighbors. The heroes of this video apparently belong to this type of people. How else can one explain their strange behavior? Each of them, in one way or another, tries to get rid of the surveillance device that hasn't done them any harm. Everything is used. Hammers, spray paint, with paint sticks. It seems that these people are ready to do anything to get rid of the ill-fated camera. But why, and for what reason? I have no answer. A dangerous person. And here's another, quite curious specimen. Aggression is bursting to break free. Apparently something was done to him by this terrible and cruel elevator. Perhaps sometime in the distant past he also kicked this kind man. Who knows? But now he has definitely gotten what he deserved. And the Avenger called another elevator and decided to leave on it. But even here it's not that simple. It turned out that the hero of this video also doesn't like surveillance cameras. At first he tried to cover it, but arms quickly get tired if you hold them up for a long time. He got tired, and the camera was to blame. Although perhaps we don't know everything about the relationship this gentleman has with surveillance devices. The camera also took a hit, but unexpectedly our hero changed his mind and decided to correct his actions, starting to actively wipe the device clean. What can we say? Apparently the camera earned a second chance and begged forgiveness from this Rambo. But allowing the device to continue observing the residence was not something he could permit, so he made another attempt to cover the lens of the camera, which once again failed miserably. It seems that the camera will soon face the same fate as the elevator. Almost Everest. The hero of this video is a car enthusiast who is looking for a parking spot for himself. Surprisingly, he successfully found one. The most difficult part is behind him. Now he just needs to park. For this, the car must overcome a small hill, and that's it. The mission will be accomplished. But it turned out to be not so simple. The driver tried to conquer this hill several times, and each time it proved stronger. The first attempt, failure. Perhaps he needs to back up a bit and try again. The second attempt, failure. And the third attempt was also unsuccessful. For the hero of this video, the small hill turned out to be a real Everest. Realizing that the hill was impossible to conquer, the car enthusiast left the parking spot for someone who would be braver and wouldn't give up trying to climb it so easily. But the next one already. The driver takes his place on the first try. What can you do? Yeah, not everyone is destined to be king of the hill. Doorbell. The next hero of our video really wanted to get home. It didn't matter whether it was his own or someone else's. The dog craved attention, and for achieving the goal all means are good. And so in the darkness of night, he sneaked up to the house and started ringing the doorbell. Why not? Maybe someone will come out and give him a treat. Of course, the animal might not have considered that he might not receive the warmest welcome. Just imagine you're sleeping at night in your bed and suddenly throughout the apartment is being rented out, the doorbell rings. You have to get up and go over to the door and check who it is at such a late hour. And it's the neighbor's dog coming to demand treats. How can you refuse him? A pool party. Remember how much fun you had the last time you gathered with friends, chatting about nothing and having a good time? Pleasant memories, right? So the heroes of our video decided to gather as a group and relax by the pool on a hot day. They were clearly having fun and the party was a success. Only the heroes of this video are raccoons. A small group of animals sneaked into someone's yard and decided to take a dip since the opportunity arose. You can't blame them for that, as many of us wouldn't refuse to plunge into cool water on a hot summer day. But the pool owners didn't rate the party too highly. The raccoons made a lot of noise, and cleaning the pool is no easy task. I think the animals wouldn't refuse to help with cleaning the pool either. In the future, they started covering their pool to avoid noisy gatherings in their yard. Bear. Christmas, a time of gifts and joy, when you stay close to your family to enjoy the winter landscapes and warm atmosphere. But what to do if you suddenly forgot to buy gifts for your loved ones? The hero of this video will be happy to give you advice. The bear was wandering around the area and was probably thinking about what to say to his loved ones so they wouldn't be upset about his small mistake. He was too busy and forgot to buy gifts for his relatives. But then he luckily came across a house, on the doorstep of which there was already a wrapped box. Who knows what is inside? Maybe a jar of honey or a warm scarf. After all, the main thing is the thought. The bear, taking advantage of the opportunity, quickly grabs the box and hurries to the den to his family. If he's lucky, on the way, he'll manage to gather a whole set of gifts and delight all his loved ones. It didn't work out. The hero of this video is a cat, who was just lounging on the porch of his house, relaxing in the shade. A woman sneaked up to him and tried to lure the animal to her, but the fluffy one wasn't in a hurry to give in so easily. Everything seems completely innocent. The girl just saw a cute animal and tries to pet it. But then everything goes beyond the law. The woman suddenly grabs the stranger's pet and runs to her car. But she can't manage both holding the animal and handling the car. In an attempt to shove the fluffy one inside, she loses control of the situation. The cat gains freedom and hurries back home, probably to the spot he had warmed up, before it cooled down, and the unsuccessful kidnapper hurries to leave the scene of the crime. Thus, an attempt to pet a cat almost turned into a real kidnapping. But it seems that even such a serious ordeal didn't bother the animal too much. On his territory, he feels protected. Sealed in. The hero of this video was calmly riding the elevator, but couldn't resist using his phone to pass the time. Floor by floor, the guy was getting closer to his destination, and then the elevator stops, the doors open, signaling that it's time to exit. But the man is completely confused. He doesn't understand why he hears the sound of the door opening, but doesn't see it. He repeatedly presses the button, demanding to be let out of the ill-fated metal box, but the elevator just won't obey him. Turning around and checking what's happening behind him, the unfortunate passenger stubbornly refused. Who knows when the man would have realized that the door had been there all along. So close, if not for the person who entered the elevator. The protagonist of the video was scared out of his wits, but finally discovered the desired door. Now he was free and learned a valuable lesson about the importance of attentiveness. Technology remains an important part of our lives, allowing us to capture various situations, from the most terrifying events to funny and amusing ones. These recordings can serve not only as a tool for safety, but also as a unique source of information about what is happening around us. Some footage is meant to remind you of the importance of attentiveness and vigilance, while others are meant to shock and give you chills, skin, and others to make you smile and laugh. Share your thoughts and impressions from watching in the comments. Take care of yourself and do not forget to rejoice. Life. Thank you for watching.